Hello, Aley. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kelly. Been a while. We were just talking about that. Always brings me up and makes me feel lighter when I'm with you. So thank
And
you.
and likewise, and we were talking backstage. It just seems like we've had this show, on the books for so long, and it just seems like it's been for forever,
It
ever, ever,
does.
ever, ever. I enjoy our time so much,
Me
and
too.
And thank you to everyone that is coming in and that will maybe be watching on replay later. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And Allie and I really love this topic because I kind of dug into it, and we are going to be talking about things in our home that hold guilt energy and how it can create blocks within us, and that it can create blocks within our home.
Yeah.
And I was when I did a deep dive, I learned things. I mean, I thought, oh yeah, I think I have got a pretty good handle on this. And then when I started doing a deep dive, I'm like, I learned a lot too. So, take what, aligns with you, and, you know,
Mm,
just discard the rest. But
absolutely. Absolutely.
so
Um, yeah. Go ahead.
should we quick just say hi
Oh
to
yeah.
a few,
Mhm.
just to a few people? Ascending Universal Butterfly, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all that you do. And
Yes. Appreciate it.
Annie, thank you so much for being
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
Oh, she says, please like on both channels. Thank you, Annie,
We have
for
some amazing
doing
people that
this.
are in our chat every single day. And so
Right.
thank you. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And Wise Light Keeper, thank you for being here.
Mhm.
Kelly is here. Hello,
Mhm.
Kelly.
Hi,
Love
Kelly.
you. Sending you so much love.
Uh-huh.
Charlie is here. Charlie, hello. And
Mhm.
and depending on time, you guys, we might be able to take some questions at the end if time allows.
Yep.
Katie, hello. Thank you for being here. And
Mhm.
Tea Garden Chicken, hello. Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you for being here.
Mhm.
And the
Magical
magical
mermaid
mermaid.
who lives not too far from me. We're gonna meet for coffee at some point in the spring. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah,
will be
I
fun.
know, I
That
know.
will be fun. It would
Yeah.
be so fun to have just a huge meetup for coffee and
Oh,
lunch.
wouldn't it? Wouldn't it though? Absolutely. Yeah.
Linda Bishop, hello.
Hi, Linda. Annie's
And
gifts, Anita.
Annie's Gifts,
Yeah.
hello. Her name's
Also, I
Anita.
saw Michelle Krantz way, way back, and I just wanted to.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
hard.
yes, yes,
Sometimes
yes,
we
yes.
miss.
I saw
Sometimes
Michelle
we miss.
too.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Yep.
you, Allie. Yes.
Sure.
Michelle, love that you're here. Thank you.
Mhm.
Love and
Mhm.
appreciate that you're here.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Allie G, what do you have? What do you have to share with
Well,
us?
I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking how closely tied our um, our physical bodies are as well to our house, because even when we do the dreams, remember when we're doing the dreams that if we have something that shows up in the dream is in the attic, it's our mind or
Yeah.
our subconscious. If it's in the living room, let's say, it's how we move through the world day to day, and things like that. And the word guilt has been something that I have tried to work through myself since I was a little girl, because I remember going to my mother, and she always wanted me to tell her everything, everything, everything. But there were some things I felt guilty about that I did that were silly, and so I would go and say, I have a guilty conscience about this. And it was an awful feeling. So I have that issue with my sacral chakra, which is the orange chakra where guilt lies. Guilt
Mhm.
lies.
Yeah.
Chakra. So I thought, wow. So to me, this was important in my home and in me.
Yes.
That was a good topic to start talking about. So um, Many of you know that I have had a dumpster on the property, and I've been throwing stuff away, throwing stuff away, throwing stuff away. And I had to actually have them take it off, and it's coming back in May because I haven't been feeling well enough to do it. You have to pay daily for it to be there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, and there's guilt.
There's guilt. There's
Yep.
guilt. Yep. So anyway, I did manage to offload a bunch of stuff, but not enough to clear what I need to clear. And actually, my area here in the bedroom is my office, which is or not my office, but where I am sitting right now. And I have a whole bunch of junk right over here by my bed and a whole bunch of junk over here. And so I feel guilty that it's there. I hate it. And it also, it shows your state of mind.
Yes.
Which is very interesting because right now I feel like I got a lot on my plate. You know, I'm with that stick dangling plates going around and around.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yes. So it's the physical cleaning that can begin that journey. And now that it's spring and things are going to get warmer, we can open up a window. That makes a huge difference to me, to be able to open up a window. Yeah. So, huge. Decluttering surfaces, and they're tied to stress or conflict. Hang on one second, guys. Sorry.
So a couple things. Shoes came up, and ironically, when I was in Mexico, I went through 2 pairs of shoes. But holding on to shoes, especially like worn shoes that, you know, if you really love shoes, you know, chances are they can get worn and you hold on to them. But
because you like them so much. Yeah.
And shoes, especially under your bed, and because I have drawers under my bed, and what I read is that if you keep old shoes, and it would probably go with, you know, other things that are old that you're no longer going to use, but to get rid of them, especially if you're not going to wear them, because it holds you back. It prevents you from moving forward, and then you have that stagnant energy underneath your bed.
I remember when I was a loan officer, my first paycheck, I found this beautiful pair of Bandolino high heels, and they had a hole in up near the toe, so the toe was a little bit exposed. You know, and I was in my 30s. I thought these were the best shoes I'd ever have or would ever have, and I wore them, and it was hard to get rid of them, because they walked me through a new time in my life. So there's a lot of metaphors around shoes as well, Kelly, that you can't go back and walk the same path. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very fascinating. Who was it? Oh, CJ says she's getting rid of her mom's estate. Talk about feeling guilty. But it is just stuff. That's right.
It is. And I know even myself, you know, I think when we look at our parents' stuff and that when it's been handed down to us, if we don't align with it and we're just holding on to it to hold on to it, there's that guilt, you know. It's like, and then it becomes clutter, and it gets put into a tub and buried in the garage or basement or closet that you have no idea what it is. And that is a collective energy in itself. And
it is.
And so, you know, and when our parents have passed, they don't care if we've held onto their stuff or not. It's the guilt within us that we feel that obligation that, oh, this was my grandmother's china, or this was my mother's, and she would want me to have it. Well, when she's gone, she doesn't. No, care. She
doesn't. And if you think, oh, my kids would love this, blah, blah, blah. My kids don't want any of this stuff. No. They don't want anything, really. I mean, you know, there's going to be stuff they'll want, a couple of books maybe, or you know, something like pictures. But even pictures, my cousin wrote me, And he's a little bit older than I am, and he's got pictures of my great grandparents I've never seen before, and stuff like that. And he said, he said, I'm downsizing, because he's like 75. And he says, I don't have any room for this. My kids don't want it. I said, would you put it and send it to me in an email? So now I have it, but it's not right here.
Yes.
And I love
that
it.
material.
Yeah.
That is
Digitized.
perfect.
It is perfect. Yes.
That is nice, because you're right. The generation, our kids in the generation coming up, they don't want a lot of stuff.
They think that a lot of us boomers and Gen Xers have too many knickknacks, and they don't want that. They're dust collectors. Yeah.
And they are. And
Mm-hmm.
they are. Now, here's one that I thought was really interesting, and it's a little bit controversial.
Okay.
Is the bathroom scale?
Yes.
There's a lot of guilt that and chances are we all have one in our house.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point in time, I used to have it. I kept it in the kitchen. And talk about guilt. I mean, every time you went into the kitchen, you saw the scale.
Oh my God, that would stop you from eating. Well, would it though? You probably, you get on it and you've gained half a pound or something, and you're like, well, it will go away by tomorrow.
Yeah, and so there is a lot of guilt with the scale, and I have found I do have one, but chances are I don't step on it just because of the guilt, and it's that fear of, oh my gosh, what if, and then there's some shame that, becomes tied to it too,
Sure
So there's a lot.
I never was Keith bought a scale like 10 years ago, and I never wanted one because I was very heavy, and I didn't want to be reminded of it. I already knew it. But when I started losing some weight from GLP shots, then I wanted it, and I have been happy to have it. But when I went off it, because I had to have an operation, and so you had to go off it for a while, then I didn't like it anymore because it was eking itself back up again. So yeah, there is a love-hate relationship that is definitely there.
There is, right? Yeah. And I think if you've been really good, and then there is some pleasure about stepping on if you have been really taking care of it, and then you don't have those guilty feelings. And I don't know about you guys, but gifts. I mean, how many times do we get a gift, Christmas, birthday, and we just go, I don't know what to do with it, but I should hold on to it. It was given as a gift.
Right.
And then it gets stuck somewhere, and there it sits. And there too. I mean, we can give it away. We can re-gift it.
Regifting is not a bad thing. It takes that right off your plate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely not. It's interesting because one of the suggestions when I did my research was identifying the source of the guilt. And so let's just say the scales. The source of the guilt is, you're too. My doctor when I was in the 5th grade, when I went in, he said, "You're too fat. You're just too fat. You don't need to be so." And so there's one of the sources of the guilt that I had. My boyfriend, when I was 16, his sister weighed 105. I weighed 120. Oh, you're really fat. Look at that. Why are you eating potato chips? Why? So it's all and now as an adult, I don't really care if nobody would say it, but even if they did, it's like, F you, it's not your business. But when you're 16 or 10 or whatever, that message keeps going in your brain.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's a hard one to let go of, especially, I think at that age we're more vulnerable, and it sticks with us.
It does. And Mermaid says we get imprinted, and that's exactly what it
Yes.
is. We hear that
Mhm.
voice over and over again.
Yeah.
Kelly, you're right about the energy of old jewelry, and I don't know if you mean antique or like if it was your grandmother's or whatever, or if it's just something you used to wear that isn't who you are anymore. Kelly Scarborough was saying, um, and I remember when my mother passed, I got her engagement ring. And I remember sitting, I didn't always go to church, but I was in a Unity church one day and we had gotten dressed up and went, and I had that ring on. I had the most anxiety you have ever felt in your entire life. It
Really?
was an imprint, I'm sure, of my
Yep.
mother's energy that I was feeling. And I was glad I was in a church at the time. But I remember thinking, I can't wear this anymore unless I, do some kind of work with it, because I mean, I know she had all kinds of problems, but I was getting them all. And it
Mhm.
was too much. So,
It
yeah.
can get to be heavy.
Oh, costume jewelry. Okay. Yeah. Costume jewelry too. Yeah. It's kind of cheapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I just went through my jewelry, and I had gotten a lot, um, from years ago, and
Yeah.
I went through and weeded
Good.
it out. And, and here's what cosmetics. I mean, I I I went through a phase where I would buy lipsticks, and I would have a drawer full of lipsticks. I don't wear lipstick, but I would buy it thinking, you know what? I really like that color. Um, I
Yes.
I bet I'll wear it. And so,
Uh-huh.
so there would be a new lipstick and another, and next thing you know, I have a drawer full of lipstick that I haven't wore. And every time I open up the drawer, I feel guilty because of the money I spent on the lipstick.
I know.
I'm not
I
really a lipstick person. And so
right.
donating, giving them away, throwing them away without feeling guilty or shameful.
Mhm.
But,
Mhm.
there's so many times a person buys lotions or cosmetics and all of this, and then they sit and
Yeah.
getting rid of them.
Yep.
And what
That's
about unfinished projects?
oh God.
So much guilt.
I have I always have been a really bad sewer. I break every machine that has ever existed. And one day decided that I wanted to make journal covers out of cloth, and I had to have a sewing machine. So I got the sewing machine. It was like $99, but still, I got the sewing machine. I got all these beautiful threads. I bought a thing that you could put the spools on. It's been in my closet for about 5 years. I broke this machine. I don't know how to use it. Why did I even get it? Why? Yeah.
Well, what was with good intention? There was good intention that it was a project that you wanted to do, but now it sits, and I'm sure every time you open up the closet, it's like I should. And so typically whenever we say I should, there's
Yeah.
guilt around that. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
we should
Absolutely.
eliminate that, because it's like I should. And I at one point had a spot out in the garage of unfinished projects, whether something needed to be glued or fixed. And I still have a few of them, but I've moved them now, and I have a list in the kitchen of, like, I have a set of wind chimes that need to get fixed.
Okay.
And
It's a
I'm
good
not
idea.
willing to part with them yet because I really want them.
Sure.
But some jewelry that needed to be,
Prepare.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so those unfinished projects, especially if they're in
Yeah.
view that you could see them like they were every time I went out to the garage, I could see them. You feel
Yep.
guilty because it's like, oh my gosh, I should do that. Or if you put them in a drawer and then you open up the drawer, and same kind of goes with the junk drawer. And we all have a junk drawer, and there's everything from A to Z in there that kind of scrambles our brain every time we open
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh, I've got actually my back room is we were going to move, and I put a whole bunch of stuff in boxes to leave, and we never did. And so I can't even open the door because that's where I put all the boxes filled with stuff. And so there's more stuff than I have any room for. And that makes me feel guilty.
Mhm.
And then it just perpetuates itself. It really does. And then you've got somebody who you live with that saves everything.
That's
Everything. There's
hard.
nothing that they don't want. We may need that. We may need that. Yeah.
Yep, that empty can with a cover or a bucket. I
The
know.
Cool Whip container that you washed out and that and you can put leftovers in. Cool
Yeah.
Whip container. Who needs that?
Right. Right.
Oh,
But I
God.
bet you there is some conditioning from childhood of, they're not being enough, and we're gonna need the whole scarcity type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Wow.
And gym equipment. Do you have any of that? That's good.
Actually, the only thing I do have is this thing that you're supposed to put your feet on, and it moves you. It
Oh,
helps.
yeah.
I have that, but I've never used it. I don't like working out. My gym used to be walking, and then I couldn't do it anymore. But I've never been a gym rat. I'd love to though go and do some water walking like Linda Butterfly does. Like water walking in the
Yes.
water at the Y or something. But I don't have time. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a bike that I got a few years ago, and it's really a nice one. It's got the back on it, and so you can kind of lean back and
Yeah.
and use it. I had it in here for a while, and then my husband's like, "Okay, Kelly, you got to get it out of here. There's just not enough room."
Right.
And so now it's downstairs in the living room off from the kitchen, and there it sits. And when my granddaughter comes, she hops on it and she goes on it.
Well,
But
good. At
otherwise,
least somebody's using it.
it gets the dust. It gets the dust off it. But in the garage, there's a weight bench, and I keep telling my husband, I said, he has a gym membership and he actually goes. So it's like, why do we? This is just taking up space, and the garage isn't
Right.
really, really big, and so it's like, either we, let's get rid of it, because there's somebody that would probably really enjoy it and
Yeah.
would like to use it, and we stack stuff on it, and so it just, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And this doesn't have to do with our home, but how many of us have storage sheds full of stuff? But and the reason I'm mentioning it is because then the guilt that can come along with the storage shed when you get that bill in the mail, because they can be really expensive. I mean, they usually start out like really cheap to get you in, and then they go up. And then
I know all about it because I used to work. Remember, I was a manager of
Yes.
storage, public storage. I had a lady who had a 20 by 40 storage unit, which you could put a car and a whole bunch of other. It's like a garage. And it was, at the time, this was 10 years ago, she paid $250 a month for it. Well, she had 3 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And she couldn't pay the money. And so we finally told her she had to get rid of at least one of them because she wasn't paying on time. And all the stuff that was in it when we saw her taking it out was just a load of junk. She just didn't want to go through it. But if if it's been 6 months and you haven't used something, you don't need it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that is really a good rule of thumb, that 6 month.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Kelly. Mystic next door. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you with the
Yeah.
the jewelry.
And a person can try clearing the energy on it, but I think sometimes it's not necessarily the energy that is tied to it, it's the memories, and
I
so
agree.
sometimes it's having to part with it, so you don't have those memories of the old
That's true. That's very true.
boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because if you really are feeling guilty about something, it says that you can use use sound in order to reset yourself and that area. You can clap, you can use a bell, you can use your own voice. This space is released from guilt. Only clarity and peace remain. I loved that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
I love that. And and I think filing cabinets are really becoming a thing of the past. We have a huge one in my husband's office.
Mhm.
And I open it up and it gives me so much anxiety because I look at these files that I go, okay, we really need to go through them because there's stuff that we just don't need anymore. There's, paperwork that we hung on to from years ago that needs to it needs to be organized. And so at some point it would be nice to ditch that, but it's that the paper, whether it's the papers in the filing cabinet, or
Yeah.
I remember my grandma she would have stacks
Yeah.
of papers or
Yeah.
stacks of magazines, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to
Newspapers too.
newspapers.
When people had them. Yeah.
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 And I went through a phase, and I am getting better, that I would have stacks of magazines, because magazines are, they're not cheap,
Right.
so you you spend the money on them, and if you don't give them away for somebody else to enjoy, I'm speaking for myself, I would hold on to them because it's like, oh my gosh, I spent money on that.
Oh
But
yeah.
but what I have done now is I will look at the magazine and I'll maybe quick page through it, and if there was any information in there that I thought was interesting, or a picture, or anything inspirational, or a recipe, I'll rip it out
Rip it out.
and
Yeah.
then throw the magazine away.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
looking at them, stacks of them too, can just, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And then you start going,
Well, don't you think that just you're like, okay, today I'm going to do this, and then you go look at it and you're all of a sudden you're exhausted.
yes.
It's like you can't do it. And it's not that I don't have a problem throwing things away. My problem is that I get judged by throwing things away or anybody else. Don't throw that away. We might need that, or something like beautiful cards that you get from your children when or things they had when they were little. I know. Yeah. It's hard to throw away that. Or my dad was a proficient letter writer, and I have all his diaries, and I'm not going to throw them away, although they may end up being thrown away. But I also have old letters from him, all written in cursive.
Oh, that's
And to me, that's
beautiful.
I know, but
You can't throw that
I
away.
take it with me, though. I can't take it with me. So
Yeah.
I just have to make that determination when I do that. Yeah.
I'm with you on the cards thing. I have a box in the
Mhm.
closet with all
Yep.
the cards people have given me, and
Yeah.
because
And
I just,
it's even more sentimental because, like you say, that magazines cost a lot. Well, so do cards. Some cards cost $7 or $10 now. Yeah, that's a lot. That's an investment right there. That's
it
for sure.
is.
Yeah. Yep.
Something I learned about garages, and I'm speaking from my garage, because my garage right now looks, oh my, it's got everything that was outside, so that cushions upon cushions and rugs
Yeah.
and rugs, and everything that we brought in from the winter is stacked in there, and it's a mess. But what I learned is, if your garage is in the southeast and
Mhm.
it's cluttered and chucked full, and it's in disarray, which mine is, it's a money leak. And so
Ooh.
um
Okay. So it's
I
feng
shared that with
shui.
my husband
Yeah.
a few nights ago, and I said, we need to tackle that garage,
Yeah.
because that when it's in disarray, it
Yeah.
there's something with the disarray in the garage that's linked to the southeast, that that siphons the money from your accounts. And so
Wow.
We're gonna get on that. Terry is here. Hello, Terry.
Oh, Terry.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And everybody, peace, love came in. Marine is here. Linda. Oh my gosh, you guys, if I
Thanks
missed
for all
you,
being here.
Debbie.
Yeah. It's great to have you here.
Yes, thanks
Yeah.
you guys so much.
Oh, Janet, there you go. Oh, her garage is in the southeast. Well, time to go out there and check it out. With me, though, it's even worse. And I love where I live, but we get a lot of mold. I lost my RV to mold. And now my car's been closed up for, I think it's been 2 months. And now Keith said, my car is full of mold.
No.
Yeah. But everything that's in that garage was full of mold. Everything, black mold. And then I have rodents. So I have either black mold on something or rodent urine, because they are, they just pee everywhere. And so even if it looks like it's nice, he says, well, we can clear the mold off it. It's like, I don't want it anymore. I want it out of here. Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, Aley, and I do this sometimes, and I do get into a little bit of trouble, but it's worth it. When Tim is away, I will sometimes just go crazy, and I just do sweeps, because there's times where he too is like, well, maybe we should hold on to that. Maybe we'll need it sometime in the future. And maybe, but if it's going to be 10 years, by that time, let's just go buy it or something.
Yeah, we can get a new one. Let's get a new one if we need it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do. And then he'll come home and he'll gripe like, oh my gosh, you went through my stuff. And then, and I'm like, yeah, I did. But look at how it feels so much better, and he has to agree. But not that he has to, but he eventually agrees that. Yeah.
Well, I think I've told this story before, but it bears repeating. I once cleaned out a lot of Keith's clothes because he doesn't wear this. He doesn't change up his outfits. He just wears the same thing. So some things just sit there. So I took a lot of load down to Goodwill. And one was a pair of jeans with flannel inside, which would be nice and warm if you were in the colder weather. And they were nothing wrong with them. And I brought them to Goodwill. Well, I'll be damned if the next day or two afterwards, have you seen those jeans with the flannel? He hadn't worn them for like 5 years. I know. And I said, no, but I'll look for them. I flew down to Goodwill and bought them back.
Oh my gosh.
You
never told him?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't tell him. I said, oh, look, I found them. And I did. I found them. I was lucky to find them, actually, because they ship stuff to different Goodwills. But, I don't think he ever wore them again anyway. So I should have just said, yeah, I took care of them. I know. It's pretty funny. It is funny, but, and it was like, if it was a pair of jeans or a shirt, yeah. But these they were like $60, at the time, $60.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Any vision boards, old magazines, and cards. And I just refreshed my vision boards, but it had been a while. And so I made that my task, because, if they're outdated, you look at them and go, oh gosh, I really need to get to it. But it takes time and the energy, and, you have to have things to refresh it with. And then there's
do you burn it when you're done, or are you just tacking these pictures up with a thumb?
I just tack them. And then when I've done whatever it is that I have on my, if I've gone to a place or a location or whatever it is, I'll just take it off and I just throw it in the garbage and then refresh it.
I'd get a big poster board, but knowing me, then I'd have 17 poster boards that I have to get rid of.
Right? I think I have 5 of them in here.
Okay.
And so, and then when a person has that many, to keep them refreshed, that in itself is a job. And and I'm just going to go out a little bit further on this, Annie. Cards, greeting cards and whatnot. However, there's tarot cards and oracle cards. How many times do we buy them? And
This is one of my stacks, actually, that I am supposed to be getting to, where ones that I haven't opened or don't call to me anymore, I'm going to sell. But they have to be put on my website and all this other junk. And if I put them on there, of course, there's some of them are used, so they would be less money, like $10 for them or whatever. But then I'd have to also figure out a way to get them to people. I don't want to add to what I already have to do.
Right.
And yeah. Wow.
This was Linda had a great suggestion to take pictures of the cards.
I think now at this point we should really, you can sell them to half price books. There you go, Magical Mermaid. When I come to Tacoma to see you, that's what I need to do.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, Kelly, we'll hold on to them and our kids will throw it away. Yeah.
My dad was so upset because he had he had his World War II uniform with all his badges and stuff on it. And when his father died, he went in and they didn't have any time. They just threw everything away. And later he regretted it. So sometimes it's important to ask early, is there, Dad, do you still have this of mine? Can I get it back? Or kids, do you want this, whatever it is that belonged to me or not? So
yeah. It's worth having the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. That's a good idea, Michelle. You're absolutely right. Yep.
And there's so many other thrift shops that a person can donate to. And I find myself, if I'm kind of going through some things, not so much with clothes, but with like household items, if I go through a bunch of stuff and I'll just put it in a box and I just put it out in my driveway and people take it. It's
wow.
Yeah.
I lived at kind of though in a sequestered community, so no one would do that. But if you're living in a place where people are always going by, of course, that's a perfect idea. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, and she says you can sell your oracles on Facebook Marketplace and do. That's
okay.
I'm not on Facebook, but that's a great.
Yeah,
that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Oh, Annie does. She puts stuff on her driveway too.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
And you're right, Wisconsin Lightkeeper. Cleaning things out takes time, and yeah, who has the time? You did it through COVID. Good for you. I started my channel through COVID, so at least both of us had something productive we were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And pictures. How many people have? And now that was kind of like back in the olden days, where we actually had cameras, took pictures, but I would have tubs full of pictures. And before we moved here, so it would have been 10 years ago, I sat down, and the thing of it was when you had cameras and you took pictures, you probably took 3, and so you'd have multiples of, and so I got rid of those. But that too in itself is, our kids aren't going to want to go through all of those.
Yeah.
And then there's our pantries. I open my pantry and I think there too, it's that conditioning and how we were growing up, where, there might be a lack, and there was never a lack of food growing up, but I think it's been carried on from generation to generation.
Absolutely.
And so I think my parents felt it, and then, they had tons of food in their pantry, and it's just like, just in case. And it's always good to be prepared, but I open up my pantry sometimes and I just get overwhelmed because it's just, there should be a rotation system or something.
There should be, because, you want to have, like for me with the lockdown, or even now, because our supply chain is going to break down pretty, within probably the next couple of months because of all the crap going on out there. But, you have to rotate. I got like 20 cans of beans. Well, that's fine. I love that, but I can't let that sit there and not rotate it. Otherwise, it's going to expire. And I did. I found stuff from 2017 in the
Yeah.
closet, or 2015. I don't need that. I can't even eat it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's that guilt of, I bought
Right.
this, I paid the money for it, and now I should really do something with it.
Do
And there
something
again,
with
it's
it.
that I should thing again. You know, I should make something. I should use it, or donate it, or what have
Right.
you.
Yeah. But I guess what you could do is, if you think you can't get to it, if you think that you're not going to be, donate it to a food pantry.
And right now, with everything
People
going
need it.
on, the way food prices are,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, people were struggling before, you know, trying to make ends meet, and trying to figure things out. And now with the higher prices, I bet, you know, I need to make another donation. But I'm sure the food pantries are being hit hard.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure there's a lot of people, because there's a lot of unemployment as well. So yeah, if if you can do that, that's wonderful. Your double prints. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Oh, wow.
And this, you know, it doesn't, it's not, well, it's in our house, but, you know, our computers, our phones that have, you know, emails or voicemails. And I'm kind of speaking for myself in case it resonates with anybody else, but I I I had 269 voicemails on my phone.
Oh,
And I started clearing them out, but I had some on there from my dad, and my dad has now passed away a couple years. And so, um, some of them I wanted to keep, you
sure.
know, just to be able to hear his voice again. But, you know, there were times where my dad wasn't very nice. And so, you know, he drank a lot. And so if he'd been drinking, he'd call me like all hours of the night, and he would say some pretty mean things.
Yep.
And so I've been slowly but surely kind of going through those, but I have to be in a good place.
I understand. No, I had that with my brother. I had his, and then it would just poof, went away one day, and that was all right.
Yeah.
It was, but you're right. I got a toxic email from stepdaughter, and it's still sitting there, and I really need to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the stuff in your email. I mean, I think I have like 40% of the gigabytes are eaten up because I haven't gone through and cleaned them. So, you got a lot of email clutter in there as well. Some of it's just junk, but some of it is important stuff that you need, and, like a warranty or whatever, something with information on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just installed 4 pull-out storage racks. I'm so organized now. I was so pleased with myself. I kept opening up. Isn't that a great feeling to be able
That's
to?
wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. And Annie's organizing her drawers too. And there's nothing better than opening up a drawer.
Oh, I
and
know.
It's organized. I mean, it makes a person feel so good.
That's right.
And I know you journal a lot, Aley. But when I was doing the deep dive in this, they recommended if there was journals, and I journal too, and I know I have one that I need to get rid of, or I need to rip pages out of it, because it was, some hard times, that I went through. And they recommended getting rid of, journals that hold on to hardships that we went through, or our old habits, or troubled times, or anger, because otherwise
I have probably 100 filled journals from the last 10 years. And my plan was to burn them all at some point. And it isn't that some of them are like, I got up today and I went for a walk and I came back home and I did that. Who cares? It's not like it's a big deal, but I just feel like that is weighing me down, all the past, and I need to move it. So I agree with you. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and then that in itself is a big
It
job.
is. Yep, that's true.
So I wrote down something to just to kind of help us on the path of getting rid of the guilt energy. And it said step number one, choose one item that brings you guilt. So just, you don't have to do a deep dive. You can just choose one item. And then they said, acknowledge the energy that that item is holding. And they said, you can either hold it, you can stand next to it, and really recognize the guilt, whatever it may be, that is tied to the item. And they said, step three, you can ask yourself, what did I expect out of myself when either I got this as a gift or I bought this or whatever. And then ask yourself, is that expectation still what I feel today?
Mm-hmm.
And then the step number 4 was to release the guilt. But they said to remember to keep the lesson, whatever the lesson was that you were to learn from either whatever the item is, and then just to tell the item, I choose peace. And they said after you do that, then you can keep the item, but draw like a new intention with the item, and or they said, or donate it. But they said when you donate it with gratitude, or they said throw it away without shame. And there is sometimes that shame that will creep in because you're throwing things away, and to let go of that energy. And then they said the power is in the completion and not the perfection. And they recommend, and I do this somewhat, to have a release box, that if you really have decided that you don't want to get rid of it, or to donate it or throw it away or whatnot, that you want to keep, but you want to get rid of that energy, you can put it in a release box, and then you can smudge it, clear it, and put different intentions into it if that's what it is. And then what I also do is I keep a bag in my closet of things. If I try something on and it makes me feel icky, or all of a sudden I try it on and there's a stain on it and I don't want to fuss with it, I throw it in the bag.
I have an operating, what I call an operating bag that I keep. It's like that box, but it's for the clothing that just doesn't fit, or isn't who I am anymore, or whatever. And I will keep that until it gets full and then donate it. So that's a great idea. It really is.
So anything else that you have?
One of the things that I found was that if you're feeling guilty and it follows you from room to room, that it's less about the house and more about yourself. And I like that, because Keith had never said a word to me about my clutter. My son-in-law always came in here and would say, wow, you got so much stuff in here. Wow, this is, and I would feel very badly about it. But he has no filter. My son-in-law doesn't, and he, of course, doesn't live with me, so he could say whatever he wants to say. And so finally I said to Keith something, and I said, I realized that I like that garage idea where it's leaking energy or leaking money or leaking, that I realized I was involved in this cyclic pattern of saying that I need to work so I can pay my bills. But then I'd get to the point where I'd say, well, I deserve something for all the stuff I do. And so it was a justification. And then I'd come down and say, I didn't save as much as I thought I was going to save. Or why did I get that? And then you have a pile, and it was circular. It was a big circle. It was like chasing a tiger by its tail. It was ridiculous. And so self-forgiveness has got to come in there at some point. Say, well, I finally got it. I got the message, and I'm going to take proactive steps. But you don't have to do everything in a day, a week, a month, or a year. It just can be whatever it is that works for you. So
just even those baby steps, and I think it's just starting to tackle it and making the conscious decision that, you know what, if it's one drawer a day, I mean, that's huge progress. I mean, that is taking place, because, you think of all the drawers we have in our house, and all the closets, and, all the accumulation that we have in our house. And this has been so much fun. I really think it was a great topic that we could explore on. And and should we do a reading for the collective?
Yep, we can. I'm just going to share that if you want to bring new energy in, because you've cleared out all that old energy, bring it in as something alive, like a plant or flowers, or something that will calm you, like incense or a candle, or, that kind of energy, because that's very uplifting energy. And Marie Kondo is a great inspiration for clearing out clutter, Annie. Definitely.
And with that, something that I learned years ago, and I think, I know my mom, she would have pictures in her house, and it would be somebody like looking really sad, or and so even that is really important, to take a look at the art and the pictures that you have in your house, because all of that holds energy too. So if it's a picture of a dead tree, or somebody looking sad, or really gloomy skies, or all of that holds energy. And so that too, just just piggybacking on what you said, to make sure that your art is uplifting and is holding good energy. I think that's really important.
No, I totally agree. It's interesting. I don't have a lot of pictures, meaning with the family and stuff. I've taken a lot of that down, but I have one picture of my son when he was about 2 that brings me joy, that sits in one room. And I have, when we went on our cruise in 2017, we actually were all together, and we all felt really great. We all had tans, and even though the cruise wasn't the best thing we ever did, the best thing we ever did was to go. So I have that energy. But otherwise, I agree with you. Having anything negative that shows up, it's not something that is a good idea. Yeah. Oh, that's great, Maureen. Yeah, I can imagine you went to smaller quarters when you did move. Yeah.
And that usually is a time in our life when we do end up having to purge a lot, is a move. I know when we moved from Minnesota here to California, I mean, there's only so much stuff that you can bring with you. I mean, you only have so much trailer room in the cars. And so it really puts, that a little bit of pressure on you to go, okay, is this something I want? Is this something I don't? And I really found in doing so, it's like, how many cake plates do you need? How many mixing bowls do you really need? And glasses and cups. And I mean, it was like, seriously, it was over the top. And back then I did have Facebook. I don't have Facebook now, but somebody had mentioned too that was a great way, and that's where I got rid of a lot of my.
Well, and the older we get, we don't need a bunch of gifts. What Keith and I decided, and I haven't really stuck to it, but I promise I will, is giving each other experiences instead of things.
Yes, right.
Yep.
And I think our kids like that more so too than
I agree.
Stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's really just the time involved. being together, doing what it is you like to do,
Yeah.
and as a family or as a couple, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an art to that. I agree with you. You know what I have a problem with? I don't know what to do with everybody. If you have a solution, I have about 6 dead laptops, and you can't throw them in the garbage. So I need to know what to do with them.
Well,
Yeah.
go online and check out, because I know here in the city I live in, they about 3 times a year they will do electronic
Okay.
recycling,
Okay.
and so we keep a box in the garage of anything that is electronic that we
Right.
want, that we need to
Good
get rid
idea.
of.
Yeah,
And so that would be worth looking into.
it would
And
be.
yeah, time to take the sad clowns down. Yeah.
Especially the one in the White House.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah. All right. So you wanted to do a reading for the collective.
Yeah, let's do a reading for the collective.
So let's see. It's very, very interesting. And the cards I pulled were from the Osho Tarot deck, and I love them. But they really are aligned with what we're talking about here today, which is, it says to turn inwards. Look at all the background people. They're all making judgments, but you're sitting in your power right here.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling as though, don't listen to what all the voices behind you are saying. No, sit and stand in your power and take that choice and move into that energy, because there is a ripeness to it. The weights that will be lifted off your shoulders will be phenomenal. You won't even believe that you've been carrying all that weight all that time. And you've always had the choice to change it.
Yeah.
And so it's saying, and if none of that works, be a rebel. Be a rebel. Just say, okay, I'm gonna rebel up myself and make that decision to do something. And then I'm going to leave it with an affirmation. Hi, James Spear. It's nice to see you. I see the person in the mirror and I love them for who they are. So
I love
there's
that.
your guilt eradication. Give yourself a beautiful affirmation that there are no mistakes. There is no such thing as junk. And whatever decision you make will be ultimately the right decision for you. So there you go.
I love that one, because how many times do we wash our hands and we don't even look in the mirror?
We don't look. Yeah.
No.
It's part of that. It's that scale mirror thing.
Right. It is, where we get that little bit of self judgment. And these cards kind of all kind of come together, and what I'm picking up on it is a lot of it, I think, has to do with what's going on in the collective right now. And this one is, oh my gosh, it's a moon deck, but I forget the name of the deck. It's I think she's got two moon decks out. Anyway, this one is face your fears. And so, and this could be too, when it comes to looking at all of the stuff, there is a fear of letting go sometimes, of everything that we've collected and holding on to. And so letting go of those fears, however it resonates with you. And this is the surrender deck.
Oh,
and
I love that deck.
Me too. I really do. And surrender to inner peace. And clearing out the clutter and everything that holds on to guilt and all of that will bring that internal peace. And it says, cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will begin to flow more easily. And that too kind of goes with, when we get rid of stuff, we get rid of that energy, so it allows the energy to flow.
Right. Yep.
And then lastly, slow it down. And I think it's a good message for
It is.
all of us. You know, it just, we, and I'm going to say for you too, Aley, I mean, right now, I mean, you're going in high gear because you've got so much on your plate. And so, you know, just remember to take care of yourself and take care of each other and everything. And so,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Great.
thank you so much, Aley, for
Go.
being here, and everybody in chat. This was absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and we sure appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you all again. Well, we'll see everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow night.
If you come in your dreams, yeah,
Yep,
bring us
Dream
your
Show.
dreams tomorrow. There you go. Yeah.
Everybody have a fabulous day and take care of yourself and each other. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.